Hello and welcome to a new episode of Nile Magazine. Today we have a lot of interesting segments, so stay with us. Our first segment is Story of the Week, and in it I'll be interviewing Dr. Amr Talat, Professor of Electronics. It will be followed by the OIF Forest, and in it we will be heading to the area of Coptic Cairo to learn more about it. As for the science page, in it we will be learning more about the latest research in the field of solar energy. Finally, in our culture review, we will be looking into the restoration of the Baron Empire Palace. Now it's time for Story of the Week. It's time to interview Dr. Amr Talat, Assistant Professor of Electronics, to learn more about his story of success. Welcome, Doctor. First of all, I'd like to ask you, why did you choose to major in engineering?
Actually, this is an old story. I always loved math. I always loved physics. I always loved to study math and physics when I was young. Then when I get older, it was clear that I want to be an engineer. And actually, after I finished my studies in العلمى, this is long ago, I started to study engineering and electronics engineering. I used to love this field. And I have been always fascinated with these small devices that change people's lives.
You actually attended Cairo University. Would you tell me what's the most memorable thing about your university studies?
I attended Cairo University. I studied there for 5 years. I graduated in the mid-90s, 1997. The best thing about Cairo University is the group, is the people. At this time, we didn't have a very large group. We were 100 students, and until now, we have very close relations together. We have some of the best professors in Egypt. We learned a lot from them, and a lot of them leave real, let's say, signs or marks in our career planning afterwards. The whole journey in Cairo University was really enjoyable.
Well, does having a dad who's also a university professor, did that affect you that you wanted to teach?
Yes, a bit. But my dad is not an engineer. My dad actually is a professor of marketing. So I took a totally different direction, because most times the only one in my family who went to engineering, not to marketing field. My sister, my mom, all of them were marketing. But I loved engineering. But yes, the effect of my dad showed that I also enjoy engineering, enjoy teaching. Although I couldn't stop of starting more implementing things by my own hands.
Well, Doctor, you did your master and your PhD degrees both in Canada. So would you tell us more about them? And let's start with your master's degree.
I left Egypt in 1999. I have been to Montreal, Canada, Concordia University. I finished my master's degree in hardware verification, where I test electronics. It was a big group called Hardware Verification Group. My supervisors had over 20 students. One of the major things I love about my master's is that although it's very, it have a mathematical background, so on, it's still practical. Because Intel and so on still use these results in verifying their own circuits. So I don't know if you'd like to tell more details about this degree. What we were doing is that we were testing arithmetic circuits, how these circuits run, and how to ensure that these circuits can never perform wrongly 100% of the time. So we test this through building a mathematical model and designing this mathematical model to model the circuit and to test all the test cases possible to ensure that this mathematical functions is going to work perfectly all the time.
Was your PhD degree associated with the same topic or a different topic?
No, my PhD degree more is about security. My PhD degree is about securing hardware designs, so no one can remanufacture it without our performance. At this time, there was a revolution called system on a chip, how to build many systems over one small chip. What we did is that we built a way to watermark these chips like we watermark money, so that anyone manufacture or reuse my chip without my permission, I will get to know this and can sue him and can stop him from using my own designs.
Well, Doctor, now, how did you find the scientific research in Canada, and was it much different than studying at Cairo University?
Okay, this would be sad, but yes, it's much different. The main point in Canada is two things. Actually, financial aspects is totally different, so that people can get more equipment, more tools, more students. And number two, which is even more important, is the system. There's a clear system where people work together, study together. The government supports this a lot. We have students from all over the globe. We have students from different countries, and all of this works to get things to get things better, or to develop better things. We're trying to do this. We're dreaming of having this in Cairo and in any university we're working in, but we don't have this system, this gears contacting together that performs a really good research or a great output.
Now, you spent here in the United States. Was that immediately following your PhD, or did you come to Egypt for some time and then travel to the United States? Would you tell us more about that?
Actually, no, it was immediately. I finished my PhD on October 2005. I started in the States January 2006. It was immediately after I finished my PhD. I worked in West Virginia at the time. I enjoyed Charleston. It's a nice city. Then, due to family reasons and due to coming to Egypt and visiting it in the summer, I decided to return permanently to Egypt. So I finished one more semester in the States. So it's 1 year at all. Then I resigned and returned back.
Now, tell us more about working in the United States and the subjects you taught, the research you've did. Elaborate on that experience, please.
I didn't do a lot of research. We had this unmanned vehicle, or actually it was a small plane that should be autonomous, that it flies alone. I was responsible for the hardware in building this plane, so we built some hardware systems. I used to teach embedded systems, hardware design, and so on. We had some good students, actually some great students. We had a couple of Iranian students, actually, they were really good. And we built this small system of an unmanned plane. At this time, 2005, the unmanned plane was very hot. It was a very totally new topic of how this plane is going to decide if the objects on the ground is it a car, is it a person, or so on, and to decide if this person's what is this person's, and for recognition and so on. So what we did is that we're trying to move the algorithms from software, the algorithms that we were building, to hardware, so that we design real to perform faster, to get results faster, to see and to recognize the objects on the ground. We enjoyed the States a lot. I actually enjoyed Charleston so much. It was a small city. We have a great community, but at the end I decided to return to Egypt.
Actually, you were quite active abroad. You told me that you were president of the student association. You did a lot of innovations. So tell us a bit about that.
Actually, we started in Canada mainly. I was an active student. Actually, I get into the student body first as a representative for electrical engineering. Then I went up in this student body until being the president of the Graduate Student Association for 1 year. Before this, I was the vice president of the Graduate Student Association. We're so active. Actually, we had two kinds of activities. One of them was services to the student, like trips, going out, traveling across Canada, and so on. Then we have also training activities, like how to train our students to become better in the job market. In Canada, most of the graduate students are not Canadians. Some of them are actually, great amount of them are Egyptians, Iranians, Chinese, and so on. So training them to integrate in the job market is essential. Maybe they are great technically, but they need a lot of small soft skills that they can help them to integrate into the job market. This was our main job. So teaching them a lot of these soft skills out of our association helped many people to get a better job and to live a nice life in Canada. That's about it mainly. Also, I was working with IEEE, which is an Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering in Canada. I worked as a student first in the student club there. But the last year before I leave, I was the IEEE Secretary of Montreal. which is one of the positions in the governing body of IEEE in Montreal.
Now, Doctor, when you came back to Egypt, you joined a private university. You're now an assistant professor in it, and you're working on IT and networking. Would you tell us more about that major or that department?
Actually, networks and electronics. I'm a dual appointment in networks and electronics department. What we're doing, we have two departments. One of them for electronics, where we graduate electronic engineer who can build and design real digital systems. This include, we can say it embedded system, but mainly how to design hardware systems like mobiles, like smart systems, like so on. And then the electronics department is responsible for communicating between these systems, how these systems can communicate together, how they can form a network. So what we're trying to teach students the whole path from how to build something like a small node in hardware and how they program it into a smart node that can communicate with other nodes.
One of the topics you mentioned also was verification and testing. Would you tell me more about it, because I'm not a science major, you know?
Okay, actually, one of the main problems we always have when we build a system is how